Another reason to read Canadian books is they're just like beaver tails. Not the beaver tails on the end of a beaver, because those are kind of gross and flat and probably hurt if you get hit by one. I mean those beaver tails that people cook that are made out of some kind of dough and they put sugar on them. That's what a Canadian book is like, just like a beaver tail. I know I couldn't skate the whole time, and I know too that you're wondering, what does a beaver tail look like? And it looks a lot like this, except it's real and it tastes better. What I'm going to try and do is I'm going to try and read the first paragraph from several Canadian, several Saskatchewan books as quickly as possible to get you a taste of what reading Canadian is like. Maureen Ulrich, Power Plays. 3:27, 3 minutes till 2 days of freedom. Mr. Wallace drones at the front of the class about our homework assignments for Monday, then rolls right into a lecture about tonight's Halloween dance and how we have to set a good example for Estevan Junior High. Everybody nods because they've heard it before. I haven't, but it doesn't matter. I wouldn't go to that dance if my life depended on it. Now that does get your attention, doesn't it? Book number 2. Dragon Planet, Cramlock, by Sharon Plum. Tonder only had time to pound the drum 6 times before the dragons of the rocks swooped down to steal the eggs. They were bloods and fires, and they wore the same glinting stripes and unnaturally long claws he'd seen in the dream. A true dream. That proved it. That's a pretty dramatic beginning. Pia's Plans, by Alice Kuipers. I put my math homework into my black bag. Dad bought it for me a year ago, but it looks brand new. I clean it regularly, and I empty it as soon as I come home from school. I watch that show about tidying up, and how tidying up is magic. I think to myself, tidy bag, tidy mind. I put 2 fingers on my wrist and count my heart rate. My heart seems to be beating normally. Good. I slide my laptop into my bag and then close the silver clasp. I think that bag's going to be important. I really do. Because of That Crow, by Bev Brenna. Everything was different because of that crow. Harris knew it, and he was pretty sure the others knew it too. Grandpa and Mrs. Featherbuster and Henry and Lucy Harder. And even Tessa. As for Pete, well, Harris figured that old dog probably knew it too, if truth be told. Pinky was the only one who might not remember anything special about that crow, but she was only 3 and didn't really understand stuff. Someday, she would find out. When she was older, Harris promised himself he would tell her everything. I really want to know what that crow is going to do. Spirit Sight, Book 1 of The Last of the Gifted, by Marie Powell. He raised his arms, feeling bone and feather flatten against the wind, and knew himself tethered to air curtains that smelled of salt and fish somewhere off the horizon. He ran below the bird, yet his mind and the hawk's mind moved as one. He could feel the dry December grasses beneath his bare feet, but he saw, as the hawk saw, a flash of gray fur in the stubble, the swaying pattern of a tree branch. Now that's a very flighty and interesting beginning. You Can't Invite a Fish to a Dance Party, by Jessica Williams. The pets all agreed. Fish could not be invited to the dance party. It was too dangerous. What if the bowl fell and broke? What if a thirsty cow wandered by and slurped up all the water? Besides, he reasoned, fish wouldn't have any fun. Fish don't have feet for dancing, and they can't sing karaoke. No, they simply could not invite fish. But fish had other ideas. I have this feeling that's what the book's going to be about what fish does to get into the party, and I'd never really thought about a fish and whether inviting a fish to a party. Anyway, I'm going on a tangent. If This Is Home, by Christine Scarrow. Jace, can you feed your sister for me before you go? My mom calls from her bed. She's lying down, and instead of going to work, she's been missing a lot of work lately. I sigh and drop my backpack to the floor. I was just about to leave for school, and I don't get out of here soon. I'll end up being late. Again. Off to a good start. So there's 7 great Saskatchewan novels. There's plenty more out there. Enjoy. And be very careful when you're skating. Skate on down to your local bookstore and pick up a Canadian book today. And in case you're wondering, it's not a very big rink.